Hi guys, welcome to Soaring Realms with Dami. So, I promised you last week that I was going to tell you why I disappeared. What happened exactly? I'm not going to say so much stories, but I'm just going to explain a little bit of what happened. Okay, where do I start? I don't know if it has happened to you before that you wanted something so badly, you trusted God, you prayed and all of that, but you've gone through the circle of hoping, getting tired, hoping, trusting, getting tired, hoping again and all of that. And then you eventually got that thing, but you discover that you have lost all of the enthusiasm, you have lost all of the energy. You spend so much energy trying to be strong that now it looks like there is nothing left to enjoy the blessing. That was exactly what happened to me, or one of those things. So I told you in the last video about how I was out of school, and then with a good result I was expecting to get a good job or even getting retained in my school, but things turned around and it didn't happen that way. And I was just trying to go back to school. I was trying to get a job, but things weren't just working and all of that. And now I started doing a little bit of job here and there just to keep body and soul together. Okay, so after 7 years, that happened for that went on and on for 7 years, trying different things, trying jobs, trying scholarships and everything. At the end of the day, God did it. God did it. So instead of going for my master's, I had the opportunity of going straight into my PhD. Don't forget, I've been out of school for 7 years. By the time I got here, I was trying to let me study the environment first and try to see how to balance work life, school life and everything. That okay, by the time I'm able to maintain balance, I will know how to bring in my videos and all of that. But it didn't work out that way. Okay, so it turns out that by the time I got to school, I just couldn't. It looks like I didn't have any foundation to put my learning on. You know how education is supposed to be, you have a foundation laid, you're just building on it. But for me, I had forgotten practically everything I learned in my undergrad. I couldn't remember anything. And doing a PhD, there is that expectation. For you to say you want to do a PhD, they expect that you have something upstairs. So it was so hard for me. It was so hard. I was always sleeping in class. You guys should not even laugh at me. I was always sleeping in class. I was that girl, and I would sit in front. I was sleeping because I was not used to that life anymore. I couldn't even remember how I study, what works for me. I have to start learning what works for me all over again. I have to start discovering myself, what's best for me. How do I study? Things that you already know from high school. I have to start learning how to read, how to study for exams, how to sit in a class and take long lectures. The first time I entered my lab, I wanted to run back home that day because I looked at all of the equipment. I don't know anything. I don't know how to operate any of those equipment. I'm like, how will I even survive in this situation? At that point, I just wanted a break, but I'm at this point I can't even give up. I'm not going to wait for 7 years only for me to come and give up eventually. So I started struggling. I was struggling. I used the word struggling because I was struggling. There were days I cried because I would study and I'm I can't even find this thing in my head. I've been studying for hours and I can't even find it in my head. It started affecting me. It was affecting my self-esteem. My self-esteem became so low because I was comparing myself to everybody in class. I seemed to be the dumbest in class. And I'm I started questioning everything. I questioned my intelligence, in fact, I questioned my undergraduate results. How did they dash me results? Or was it not this same brain that I used to study then? At some point I'm like, is this spiritual? I'll be something that's taking my brain away. Do you understand? It's not funny. Like, it looks like everybody was more intelligent than me. Oh my god, no, it was a terrible time. My first exam in this school, and here A begins from 93, 95. Like, if for you to have A, not like 70%, no, you should have like 93, 95% to get an A. So I started all of that, and it was so hard, it was so tough. And what was the last thing on my mind is to do videos at that point, because at that point I started feeling like I didn't have anything to offer. I'm no longer intelligent. I don't have any brain. Who would even listen to me? Who would even listen to what I have to say? In fact, do I even have anything to say? Like I said, it affected my self-esteem so badly. And it continued like that. But at some point, I had to give myself grace. I had to remind myself, come, Dami, you've been out of school for 7 years. And look at some of these people I'm comparing myself with. They already have a master's. Some of them, they are like, they're like fresh from college and all of that. So there is really no basis for comparison. So, but one thing I also told myself is no giving up. This journey that I have started, I have to finish it. I just have to finish it. So it went on and on. Even at the end of the day, when I was okay, I was able to like balance a bit. It's not over, I'm still in it. But like when it got to a point where I can say, okay, I'm catching up a little bit, I still couldn't go back to the video. And I'm not even going to lie to you, because even my spiritual life suffered, because there are times I'm supposed to be praying, I'm just crying, I'm just not happy. I'm that kind of person that you can't easily notice from my face that something is going on. I hide my pains a lot. So to even study the Bible, it was difficult for me. So I'm like, what do I even have to share? So that's why I'm just rest though. That situation now. But I'm not going to say too much story, but I'm just going to pick out some of the things that I have learned from this whole experience. And I'm going to start from the very start, the beginning. If you are trusting God for something, please trust Him. Trust Him. You're fasting, you're praying, you're doing everything, trust Him. If God says it, He will do it. I am a living testimony that God answers prayer. It took time. There were disappointments, there were failures, there were all of those unpleasant experiences. They were there. But I want to encourage you, if you're that person that is, you've been trusting God, I don't know, whatever it is you're trusting God for, please don't give up. Don't give up. God's got you. He loves you. You're precious to Him, and He would do everything in His power to make sure you're happy, to make sure you're comfortable. Number 2, another lesson I learned is that give grace to yourself. Give grace. You know this pride of hey, how can I? Please, you are human. Give yourself grace. I'm supposed to be doing better than this, but this is what I have right now. Okay, this is the reason why I'm having this, but I'm not going to stop there. Like, give yourself grace. Like, that's one thing that helped me. The little things I'm able to do, I try to appreciate myself for it. Damn, you are doing well. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You're doing well. Because don't be a rough rider. Like, you need it. You need it to keep your body, soul, and spirit together, to keep yourself sane. Give yourself some grace. I'm not saying, just sit down and be watching, doing nothing. No, but like, for example, in this case now, it's just normal for me to face that kind of challenge, because I've not been making use of my brain in that aspect for good 7 years. So it's just normal for me to feel that way. So it would be wickedness to be unnecessarily hard on myself. I hope you get what I'm saying. So One other thing that I learned is there is no basis for comparison. Please don't compare yourself to anybody. Compare yourself to anybody, setting yourself up for frustration. Please don't compare yourself to anybody. I am not saying you should be passive. I am not saying you should be lazy. I am not saying you should not aspire to be greater, to be better. But do not compare yourself to anybody, because everybody's race is different. Everybody's experience is different. Everybody's story differs. But try as much as possible to always beat your past. Be your own competitor. Like, always, try, okay, this is what I have right now. I want to be better. You are aspiring to be better. You are not comparing yourself to somebody. Then I have to tell you this. One of the biggest gifts that God can give you is to give you good people. No. God bless me with good people. Number one, I had a beautiful, a wonderful church family. There are times I would just go out for prayer on Sunday. Somebody is there praying for me, and then I'm just crying, just weeping. Get yourself a good church family, guys. Then I had good people around me. My mentor was, oh God, very helpful. There are times I will just call and all I do is just cry. Sometimes all I do is just rant, and he'll be like, do you want to come back home? I'll be like, no, I don't. Then he'll be like, don't give up. I have friends that are always there for me, always pushing me, always like, oh, you're doing well, and all of that. And I have family members that understand when I'm not able to reach out to them, when I'm not able to call them. They understand, God's blessings, God's biggest blessings to me so far are good people. So get yourself good people and be that good person too. Yes. Another thing I'm going to say I learned was that you cannot determine what's going to happen at the end by the beginning. So don't jump in, jump out. Don't give up so soon. Don't give up so easily. That it is hard does not mean you have to quit. That it is hard does not mean it's not for you. There are times I'm like, maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is no. That it is hard does not mean it is not for you. Tough it out. I'm telling you. And with the help of God, you will get there. And when you get to that point, when you begin to doubt yourself, I want to tell you that you're actually not doubting yourself. You're actually doubting God. Because that's one of the things I actually had to tell myself, that I feel like one thing that Holy Spirit had to tell me is that you're actually not doubting yourself. You're doubting God. Except you want to say, oh, all of your achievements in the past, you did it by your own power. So if all of your achievements in the past, you didn't do it by your own power, how come now you're struggling so hard to do it with your own power? Like, how come you're blaming yourself for everything? How come you cannot trust God? If you think you're not believing in yourself, what you're actually doing is you're not believing in God. Because if you believe that it is God that has been helping you in the past, then this is not the time to start doubting. So if I think of more lessons, maybe I can talk about it part time, but I don't want to make long videos. But I hope this has been able to bless you. But honestly, God does not put his own people to shame. So please, do not give up. Trust me, do not give up. God loves you. Always remind yourself that he loves you. No matter how it looks like, no matter how the situation looks like, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. But if you don't get to the end of the tunnel, you cannot see the light. So don't go back in the middle of the road. All right? I love you. Bye.